Welcome to Voices for Justice with Danielle. In 1976, Michael Morrissey was a recent college graduate and political newcomer when he won his first election to public office, a state representative seat against an entrenched Quincy politico whose campaign slogan was "Nine good terms deserve another." Half a century later, it is Morrissey who has become the entrenched political institution. He has held elective office since winning that election in 1976, the last 14 years as district attorney of Norfolk County. But for the first time in his career, the top prosecutor is on rocky political ground, largely due to his office's handling of the Karen Reed and Sandra Birchmore cases, both of which feature accusations of a police cover-up and questions over prosecutorial decisions. The fallout from those cases and questions about their integrity are causing complications in other major prosecutions on the South Shore. And for the first time in a generation, serious political opponents who see an opening against an embattled district attorney are already starting to line up, even though Morrissey is not up for re-election for another 2 years. It's like a double tap. Not just one big scandal, but two, said longtime Massachusetts pollster Lou DiNatale. He noted that incumbents tend to favor quiet, low turnout races. The Reed and Birchmore cases threaten to change that. This guy is a national story, and that's not what an incumbent DA wants, he said. To add to the speculation, Morrissey's administration is already seeing some shakeup. The office confirmed Friday that his longtime right hand, First Assistant District Attorney Lynn Beeland, is retiring. Morrissey, 70, has not publicly said whether he plans to run for a fourth term as the top Norfolk prosecutor. Political watchers who are waiting for any hint of a decision say he'd be difficult to defeat, both because of the $500,000 in his campaign account and his clout in the densely populated areas south of Boston, including Quincy and Braintree, communities he previously represented as a state senator. The conventional wisdom would be that he would be in some serious political trouble, but my money would be on Michael, if he runs, said Michael Bellotti, the Norfolk County treasurer and fellow longtime Quincy politician. To underestimate him is always a mistake. Morrissey, an old-school, back-slapping style politician, has repeatedly defended his office's prosecutorial decisions, saying it continues to seek justice in both the Reed and Birchmore cases, working with other law enforcement agencies when needed. Morrissey did not respond to requests for comment on this article. The most recent criticism came in August, after federal authorities charged former Stoughton police officer Matthew Farwell with killing the 23-year-old Birchmore in 2021 after she claimed he was the father of her unborn child, and then staging the scene to make it look like a suicide. The U.S. Attorney's Office alleges Farwell had sex with Birchmore when she was 15 and he was 27, and her instructor in a police youth program, and that he then continued to groom her for years. But in the years after Birchmore's death, up until the federal indictment, Morrissey's office had considered the case a suicide and said there was no evidence of foul play. Local prosecutors have not charged anyone in her death, even though Birchmore's family and friends raised concerns about her relationship with a police officer. The indictment raised questions over how federal investigators could have reached a different conclusion than Morrissey, even though they both were working with largely the same evidence, including thousands of text messages between Birchmore and Farwell. Separately, the controversial trial of Karen Reed, the woman Morrissey's office charged in 2022 with murdering her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, attracted nationwide attention and doubts about the case. Prosecutors said she was drunk and backed into him with her car after dropping him off at a gathering at a home of a fellow police officer in Canton. But attorneys for the 44-year-old Reed of Mansfield argued she's being framed as part of a massive law enforcement cover-up, that police officers and those connected to them beat O'Keefe to death and then sought to cover it up. In August 2023, as criticisms of his office in the Reed case grew, Morrissey took a highly unusual step and released a video lambasting what he called conspiracy theories about the case. He also defended Michael Proctor, the state police trooper who, as a detective assigned to Morrissey's office, led the investigation into O'Keefe's death, and who had become a focus of protesters who claimed he was part of the cover-up. Proctor came under further fire during Reed's trial this spring. Federal investigators, who had been probing the integrity of the state investigation into the Reed case, turned over thousands of documents related to the investigation, including text messages Proctor sent to friends and supervisors, making crude and misogynistic comments about Reed. He also commented that Brian Albert, who owned the Canton home where the gathering took place, had nothing to worry about because he was a police officer. Reed's attorneys seized on the messages to suggest Proctor was biased. Reed's proceedings ended in a mistrial on July 1st. Morrissey has vowed to retry the case and has enlisted an outside attorney to lead the prosecution for a second trial scheduled for January. The state police have since suspended Proctor, Proctor's troubles now require the Norfolk District Attorney's Office to notify defense attorneys on other cases that Proctor was involved in that the trooper is under investigation. Proctor was also the lead investigator in another high-profile murder case Morrissey's office is prosecuting. Brian Walsh, the Cohasset man accused of killing his wife, Anna, and disposing of her body. Morrissey has said he won't call Proctor in the case. But in court filings, Walsh's lawyer, Larry Tipton, is taking aim at Morrissey's office, citing what has been revealed as serious questions about the conduct, decisions, and bias in its investigations, and the bias and inadequate supervision of the state police assigned to the office. The controversies will likely trail Morrissey into the 2026 election if he runs. Dedham lawyer Juna Perkins, the former chief of the Suffolk District Attorney's Domestic Violence Unit, has announced she is running for the Norfolk seat. Perkins, a 56-year-old attorney whose practice focuses on independent investigations of institutions such as cities, school districts, and colleges, said the headlines about Reed and Birchmore have convinced her the office needs to dramatically change to regain trust. The damage has been so great, she said. We just need a fresh start. Perkins said the office needs a full review of staff and of pending cases, and more oversight over the charges prosecutors bring. She said the office also needs to overhaul its unit of state troopers and do better when considering new evidence. This is a job where the most serious cases should keep you awake at night, she said. You should be constantly questioning your conclusions. Cohasset lawyer Craig McClellan, 45, another former Suffolk district attorney, said he plans on running but is currently in the exploratory phase. He too cited the Reed and Birchmore cases, as well as the witness intimidation charges brought by a Norfolk special prosecutor against Aidan Carney, the blogger known as Turtle Boy, who frequently criticizes Morrissey in connection with the Reed case. It has become objectively apparent that the public has lost trust and confidence in that public office, McClellan said. Do you think Morrissey has a shot at another term in 2026? Post your thoughts in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.